here's the thing we have to understand. When we go out and we try to get better, and we try to improve, and we raise our personal standards, we are elevating ourselves into a place where there are just less people available that share that standard. All right? Higher standards equal fewer people to connect with. So what you're experiencing is you've raised your standards, you've decided to be a better person, you've decided that you are going to pursue excellence, you've decided that you're going to get the most out of your potential, and now because you've decided that and you've committed to it, you're looking around at everybody else and you're noticing that they don't do that. And when you were one of them, you didn't notice it because that's just what we did. So now that you've committed to being better, it stands out and it becomes very obvious, all right? So that's a challenge because most people are going to continue to live the way that you always lived before you became who it is that you are now. And that can be very frustrating because we spend time alone. But here's the thing. People often say things like, oh, it's lonely at the top, or I can't find anybody to relate to. That's not the truth. The truth of the matter is that you're in between phases, okay? When you started out on 75 hard and you said, man, I want to get more out of my life, I want to improve, I want to get better, everybody else around you was doing the same things that you've been doing. And now that you've elevated, you have moved on past that group and you have started to progress down the path. And you just haven't connected with the next group of people that are going to share your mindset, share your drive and goals for yourself. You haven't gotten that network of friends built. So you're in what we call no man's land. All right, no man's land is when people start to become successful, they start to get better, and they find themselves alone because all of their old friends are now kind of out of their life, and they haven't developed new friends yet. And this is where people come with that saying, oh, well, it's lonely at the top. No, dude, you're not at the top. You just got fucking started, all right? You're just in between phases, and you need to settle into this new lifestyle, give it some time, start to, rekindle these relationships and build friendships with people who are like-minded. And once you start to do that, you're going to find that that old group of friends was holding you back, and you're going to realize they were holding you back a lot more than you realized at the time. And you're also going to figure out that this new group of friends is much more rewarding and fulfilling to be friends with because they share the same viewpoints that you have, the same desire you have, the same drive you have, the ambitions, the goals, the dreams. They are connected to you in that same way. So you move away from people who are saying stuff like, oh man, don't forget where you came from. Oh dude, what do you think? You're better than everybody? Oh, you're getting a little too big for your britches there. And all these people that try to, pull you back into their circle, and you move into a group of people where they're like, bro, this is awesome that you're doing that. You know what? Let's get together and work on this. You know what? Let's go outside and get a workout in together. You know what? Let's do this. It's going to improve both of us. Let's collab. Let's build this. Let's do this. And now you're in a whole new group of network that actually pushes you forward, which makes progressing that much easier. And if you choose to continue to progress beyond that point, you will continue into another phase of no man's land because there will be people in the second group who decide this is good enough for me, this is where I want to be, and that's okay. But the longer you go, the more times you go through this process of sort of washing away the old and replacing with the new. And that's a good thing because we're not supposed to just stay stagnant our whole lives. Just because you were born around certain people doesn't mean you have to stay around certain people. Just because you had friends in high school or friends in college doesn't mean that you need to be doing the same shit that you were doing in high school or college, or else you're not real anymore, or you've forgotten us, or you're too good for us. That's bullshit. That's what losers fucking say to make you feel shitty. And do you really want that in your life? No, it's annoying, all right? And every time you scale up and every time you push forward, you're going to find yourself connecting with more and more people that not only encourage your success, but also contribute to it. So you're just going through the normal process, dude. This is part of it. And you're in between friend groups. And what I would encourage you to do is to stay on the path, keep pushing, keep getting better. And the right people will find you. The right people will start to realize that you're this kind of person. And you will start to connect with these people one by one by one. And soon, after some time, you'll have a whole new network of friends. But there is no quick fix to this. There is no, group or whatever that you can join that'll just automatically get people to replace your old friends. Like, this is a process and it takes time. Now, you could go on the internet and you could, search 75 hard hashtags, and you could start to connect and follow and kind of build your relationship with other people who are driven along the same goals. You could go to certain events like the one we just had this weekend, Summer Smash, where everybody's here, aligned, they're trying to get better. You could join communities that are, there's a lot of run clubs, there's all these things around where people are getting together to improve. And it's becoming more and more common, so that you can accelerate the process by doing things like that. But ultimately, dude, here's the deal. Throughout your life, you're going to continue to push, and not everybody is. And that's going to be weird, because you're going to wonder why they're not pushing too, and it's going to be fucking annoying, all right? But at the end of the day, you can't sacrifice your potential and what you're supposed to become because of the inaction or unwillingness of other people, and you just have to keep going. Being around the wrong people will cause you to compromise.
Yeah.
And dude, you can't compromise, because once you start to compromise, you start to compromise everything. So there can be no compromise in your standards. And if you compromise it, when's the next time you're going to compromise the next standard and the next standard? It creates a snowball of compromise to where eventually you find yourself back where you were. All right. And yeah, for sure. And usually it does get worse, because once the slippery slope starts, it's hard to stop it. But this concept is the same in relationships, like romantic relationships, partner relationships. It's not just friendships. Like, a lot of people, a lot of you guys are out there looking for a significant other, or you're trying to meet people, but you're not considering like what you bring to the table. Like, you think you're going to go out there and you're going to meet, some person who's got all their shit together, but you don't have your shit together. And what you have to realize, and what I hope you do, is that you won't settle until you're in a really good place, because when you get to a really good place, you're going to attract people who are also on that level, which means your ability to get the ideal partner is going to be much greater at that point in time. So, we have to consider that too, dude. Like, look, yeah, you got to live your life. Yeah, you got to have fun. Yeah, you got to have friends. Yeah, you got to date. All these things. But you should realize that you're never going to get the best of those things until you're the best product yourself. And that's going to take you taking 6 months, taking a year, and becoming exactly who the fuck you're supposed to be. And you can accelerate the results of your life in a tremendous fashion by just saying, hey, you know what? I'm not dating. I'm not fucking around. I'm not going to do this. I am going to put the next year 100% on me. I'm going to become the best version of myself. And then at the end of that year, I'm going to evaluate. And I'm going to tell you this, dude. If you take that mentality, all your friends are going to be better. The people that want to be friends with you are going to be better. You're going to make more money. You're going to have a better life. The people who want to fuck you are going to be a lot better options. Okay? So I'd have no other way to say that. But that's the reality. Like, yeah, become the best, you get the best. You're not entitled to anything. Well, I was fortunate that I grew up with parents that sort of let me do what I needed to do. They weren't too overbearing, they let me go out and make mistakes without putting too many rules or restrictions on me. And, I was sort of allowed to do whatever I wanted as long as I didn't get in trouble. And I think that helped me, because that way when I was away from home, I didn't go crazy. I already kind of understood how to handle myself. So there wasn't any awkwardness there. When I said, hey, I'm moving to Springfield and I'm going to start a business, I mean, it wasn't like anybody said no, so I just did it. And I don't come from a traditional family. I wouldn't, I didn't grow up with the white picket fence and we sat down for dinner every day. It was different. And so I don't know. That wasn't really a factor for me. Now, was I nervous to go out and try to do something? Did I feel unqualified? Did I question myself? Did I doubt myself? Did I think, fuck, am I going to be one of the people who are chosen for success? Absolutely. You always wonder that in the beginning. Do I have what it takes? Yep, dude, that's normal, all right? But you have to fundamentally, if I could I wish I could reach into you guys who are young, into your brain, and make you realize just this one point. And it's this. I used to think like you think. I used to think there was magic to it, or there was luck, or you had to be in a special circumstance, or you had to know this person, or you had to be invited into the club. I used to think all these things that you guys think. Am I going to be one of these people that is chosen, quote unquote, for success? And if you've been following me for a while, you've heard me talk about the quote unquote success fairy. And how I used to think about it was there's people, and you have a group of people that are there's 10 of us in the room, and one of us gets chosen to be successful by some force that we don't understand. And I call that force the success fairy. And what you have to understand, guys, is none of that shit is real. None of that shit is true. There is no success fairy. There is no special fucking secret club with secret handshakes. There is no, you got to know this person or that person. You will meet those people as you go out and build things that will accelerate your career, but nobody meets those people on day one. You're going to have doubt. You're going to have frustration. You're going to have anger. You're going to have mistakes, but those things are necessary for you to gain the skills, all right? So when you really look at what it takes to build something, from my perspective, I can very confidently say it is very simple. It's inputs equal outputs. It is what I do and what that creates. And if you show up every day and you're effective every single day, and you continue that for as long as you can and keep the ratio of wins much higher than you do losses, meaning you win, let's say 95% of the days, or even 90% of the days, bro, there's no denying that you'll get where you want to go. It just depends on how long it's going to take. Some of you guys come from total shit, for real. And most of you guys will say you come from shit, but really you come from a middle-class upbringing.
You're doing all right.
Right.
Yeah.
There's people who come from fucking literally nothing. No parents, fucking adopted, no money, dirt poor, wearing the same clothes every day, who have built literally billion-dollar businesses, okay? If those motherfuckers can do it, I'm 100% sure that you can do it. So, but it might take that person longer because they didn't grow up with, parents that taught them about business, or parents that, taught them basic things in life. So yeah, we all start at a different place. And that means that it might take you longer, but that doesn't mean it's impossible. And that's what you have to understand. If you were born in a shitty spot and that's the card you got dealt, guess what? The reality is you got to do more work. That's what it fucking comes down to. And you can bitch about it, you can cry about it, you can complain about it, you can write fucking blogs about it, you can make videos crying in your car about it. It ain't fucking fair. It's not fair. But if you just accept the way that it is and you say, all right, look, I was born with fucking bullshit circumstances. I better get to work because it's going to take me 5 years longer than it's going to take the guy who grew up in upper middle class America. You know what I'm saying? So we just have to accept that. And we have to understand that it's still possible. It doesn't mean it's impossible. And there's no magic to it. All it is you try something, it fails. Why did it fail? Learn a lesson. You try something again, it works. Then you try the next thing, it fails. Why did it fail? You learn a lesson. Then you try it again and it works. That's the process that's repeated hundreds of thousands of times over the years that makes you a skilled operator and that brings you success, fulfillment, and the life that you desire. And anybody can achieve it. So that's the way the game works. Bro, I actually think it's a huge advantage.
That's what I'm saying. Are they more successful than not?
Yes. It is a huge advantage to come from fucking nothing. Here is why. Because you had the biggest motherfucking chip on your shoulder that you could possibly have. You got fucked in every way. Everybody tells you your shit. Nobody thinks you're going to succeed. Everybody laughs at your shit. And if you're smart, you can absorb that energy and use it to move forward. And dude, every single successful person at a massive level has this crazy story of how the fuck they did it and where they came from. And it's not because they just get there and start making up stories, bro. It's because those people have something to prove. They have a mission. They have an enemy. And those are 3 things that you have to be successful. So if you're one of these people and you're moping around, but I'm not coming from nothing, you're blinding yourself to the reality that it's actually one of the biggest advantages for the massive amounts of success that you could create. Do you think that middle class, weak ass, pussy motherfucker's gonna do the shit that you're willing to do? He doesn't even know what hardship is. Those people are easy as fuck to beat if you come from that place. So like, dude, don't cry about it. Use it to your advantage, and I guarantee you, you'll be much more successful than the soft motherfuckers that come from the rich family that their mom and dad paid for everything for them.
That's real shit, man.
Yeah, I know it's real, bro.
It's
First day I worked with DJ, I said, get in the fucking truck. And I took him to where we grew up. And I said, this is where we come from.
Yeah.
The reason for that is I didn't want you to think that I just shit this shit out of my ass, bro. I have paid in blood for the life that I have. And that's how I know it's possible for all these motherfuckers out there.